Hi there, welcome to Carcassonne with Utze and this year's Hungarian Carcassonne Online Championship 2025. It's the quarterfinals. One was played yesterday where Motherpal dispatched off Silex Saxum to secure a semi-final spot, and another one was played earlier today where F Chaba won versus Chije to secure a semi-final spot as well. Mozopal is waiting on Siegfried or vizecske, while David 44 and Kisemo will fight to meet F Chaba in the semis. Both of these duels will take place today. The top one starts in about 2 minutes, the other one in roughly half an hour. So, vizecske. Well, looks like there's a clear trend here. So maybe reaching the 700 master threshold isn't the end of it, and they might reach 800 sometime in 2029 or so. We'll see. For now, the only player that ever reached the 800 threshold from Hungary is Siegfried. And so today I'd favor Siegfried to win this game, even though I'm not sure what's his current form. I didn't watch any games on Saturday, I guess. I think. I can't really remember if I had watched anything from Secret on Saturday, but well, it is what it is. We'll see. Today should be a pretty even matchup, but as I said, I'd slightly favor Secret, even if it's only because of experience on a high level. So looks like they are playing in a tournament mode or not. I'm not sure, but still haven't started yet. Later on, I might take a peek at the other remaining quarterfinal, but this mostly depends on the speed of play in our main event, and I guess it will be rather slow. At least Siegfried is known to take his time, and arguably he might be one of the best at time management, at least what I witnessed. Was him usually taking the increment to think a lot and then executing the move once the increment is done. And this year looks like a rather fast pace, but we'll see. So Siegfried playing yellow and vizecske with the blue meeples. Interesting that doesn't connect, but goes for this road. Else, he might risk Siegfried taking the road and having a city, so an advantage in the early game, and therefore he opts for the riskier approach, hoping to draw a Dorito later to connect, or maybe even attack this city. And Siegfried, well, he had to play the monastery somewhere. and the other spot was worse. So he created the platform for the city attack, and quite likely doesn't like to execute this exact move because this configuration is annoying as hell. If somehow vizecke would be able to limit this to the quadruple city, then Siegfried's game could be really, really, really annoying, because he might need to deal without these 3 meeples for a long time, and maybe would not even get them back at all. So this config is to be avoided. You'd rather do attacks like this somewhere far away from your monasteries. But it looks like vizecke just waits for the right piece to attack, or rather try to block. And the straight definitely isn't it. Nope. Nope, nope. This gives far too easy protection options for Siegfried. So now he has 4 cows to draw from, and it's very, very likely to at least get one, and it's pretty likely to draw it rather quickly. We could even check. Let me quickly check. Where's my calculator? Here we are. So we are at 59 tiles, 4 pieces, and the average moves to wait would be 5. So quite likely for Siegfried to get one of the cows rather soonish. By the way, the calculator is linked in the description. Okay, chat's working fine. So the pace is rather slow, as expected. I just didn't know about vizecke, but they are playing at a rather relaxed pace as well, and that actually at this time of day suits me quite fine, because I'm a bit slower than during the day and might need a few seconds more to catch up on their intentions. And I have more time to explain specific moves. So in this case, blue here didn't want their city to be hurt by something from the top. I think that's, in this early stage of the game, a bit too cautious. I'd rather open another city, for example here, to be able then maybe to block this square with a curve, or exert pressure against this one here to block monastery and city even. And this here, there's just no upside, and I like upside. And I think especially against a player of Siegfried's caliber, you need to play with a bit of risk, else you might be going under rather soon. Especially if he threatens to close this or likely 12-point city. And also already has these 2 monasteries, plus maybe a third one, although square is really iffy. One of the left-handed daggers is already gone. So monastery over here. And then the limitation of these 3 meeples to the 2 remaining daggers would follow, and in most cases swiftly. Yeah. V takes the 2 points, tries to kill this square. Siegfried sometimes does curious moves, but in this case, I guess he'll continue like this. And he quite likely doesn't want to add one of his meeples on this city, as this could be obstructed from the left side easily with many road pieces. But given he's likely to draw a curve and get 2 meeples back, and also still has one in hand, and doesn't want to give back this juicy city starter to blue, I guess in the end he'll suck it up and will meeple there. Else he might opt to, yep, exactly like this, use this option, but then he'd run the risk of blue getting one of the 2 remaining horses or one of the 2 remaining road Doritos to kill this square. So this move was immediately punished by blue. That meeple is dead, and it's at 2 points, just 2 points. So first blood is drawn, and at least the long-term meeple majority should belong to blue. Interesting that the Siegfried chose to take the 2 points on the right side and not next to the monastery. This, at least to me, would suggest that he'd rather would use a road continuation there like this maybe, but even in that case, this here could have worked. But the problem is this square, of course. Quite likely he has to first place something here and take care of this really iffy square, or quite likely to be, a square that would become iffy once blue takes care of it. So under normal circumstances, I would like this move by blue. But actually, it's a bit of protection, the square. So let's see how blue continues here. If they go for the obstruction, so something like this, then this monastery is golden. Yeah, and I think they should jump on this opportunity. That's more or less perfect. Else, there's this one here up top, but that's too easy to protect the monastery. Yeah, nice piece for Siegfried, just a tad too late. Sure, he could use it there and hope that blue gets a straight, for example, and with a straight, of course, you can't kill this one. But it's way more likely that blue would get a curve or crossroad to kill the square immediately. The problem, though, then is if you don't use the monastery here, well, you didn't do anything about this square either on your move, and it still could be killed, or at least restricted to the daggers, and then you need a curve, else blue would obstruct over here again. So I think taking this risk is, in this case, the right move. In the end, this one might die, sure, this one as well, but at least you'd go home with 8 points. You will get these two back rather soon, in all likelihood, that is, and at least this one here allows you to build up your other monastery on the right side. So vizecske, excuse me, even prefers to close their city instead of killing this here, which I'd say is the wrong priority in this case. Again, why close an open city that's under no threat by anything? There are still three not diagonal, 3 vertical splitters. So these pieces here available, which would be a nice continuation. The same goes for the 2 extenders, and you'd rather keep an open cap, if at all possible, until the end game, or if you need meeples. And does this look like blue needs meeples? I don't think so. So they gave yellow the chance to protect this square, and with this, the monastery, yellow jumped on it. Next limitation, this time to a left-handed dagger, and 2 of these are already gone. So there's exactly 1 piece left, and chances that this one here will complete are dwindling. So in the end, it might be this move which hurt Siegfried the most. To refresh and update those that have tuned in later, he could have used the Dorito like this to save this square, but he didn't like the prospects of this city here Can't really fault him for that, but in that case, he had 2 meeples in hand, and I think this save here long term might have been the better option. So more pressure by blue against yellow's road monastery. This time they can't protect. Let's see what they'll do. Maybe Liquid will take this cap here, which isn't without risk. Something like this here, and later a curve. And if that would happen, would be pretty devastating for Siegfried. But let's see what he does, and let's see how vizecske counters. For one, he just adds it here, which threatens to kill this square, or try to close this road and hope to draw the dagger later. Both options are viable. For example, if he'd get the quadruple city, my money would be on this one here, and I guess Siegfried has the guts to execute a move like that. So let's see if vizecske uses this curve to lock the monastery to a 50-50, or if he rather waits for a killing blow. Okay, he uses this one, which in most cases would be pretty nice, but tough luck. Siegfried gets the perfect response by drawing one of 2 remaining starting tiles. So yeah, still the dagger out there, and it's critical. So vizecske finally gets some sort of shiny city after only small stuff so far. And I said it earlier, average wait time for Siegfried to get a cow would be 5 point something moves. His moves, so 10 tiles, 11 tiles total, something like that. But that's just the average, and there are, well, outliers. So we'll see. This time, that's okay, I think, because there was the threat of yellow attacking or blocking your city. Siegfried gets the right-handed dagger, which is perfect because it saves this square. Blue would have loved to get a rose to take the 4 points themselves and kill the square, and with this monastery in addition to the city, because yeah, sure, you'd kill your monastery as well, but actually you don't mind in a case where you have the meeple majority and have a lot of meeples in hand to play an exchange like this, killing one meeple of both colors. It's just like in chess. He prepares a kill here. Siegfried finally gets a cow, but due to this threat, he doesn't jump on this immediately. He first takes a good hard look at this situation and then decides to take the points, and meeples, and vizecke kills this monastery, takes 2 points. And with both diagonal splitters gone, even the remaining city cap doesn't matter. It's just the ruin starter if necessary later on. So now there are 4 yellow meeples on the board. 2 dead, 1 in dire straits, and this one here. Well, there are still 2 vanillas out there. So this could be liberated, and in that case, it would be with a farmer, and therefore blue definitely needs to jump on either side of the farm before yellow gets this chance. Sure, they could take the farm later, but it's way easier to be on a farm before your opponent has the chance to do so. Yeah, there's no good spot for this extender, but quite likely this one here. And even that's not ideal, but it is what it is. We'd rather not dump this. I don't know, over here. Just to not let blue do anything with it, but maybe taking a ruin with 6 meeples in hand. They might even do that. Yeah, and this, of course, works as well. So vizecke, at least per the instruction F. Chaba sent me. So thanks again, by the way. So vizecke will quite likely start a road somewhere, not a road, a city. But the problem is you'd create roads, and juicy roads at that. So the best option might be over here, just like this. But even that would supply a road end to possible yellow road. Same goes for this option here. Maybe then this one might be the safest way. Else, of course, you could just take 2 road points, and they opt for this over here. I actually don't like that. I prefer to take the city cap. Again, there were still all 3 vertical splitters remaining, and I'd rather like to have an open city cap to make good use of them. And the best use of these pieces is closing a city and opening another one, or in some cases, of course, meepling a field. So in an instance where there's only 1 cap left, I'd rather not meeple the cap there. So blue takes the field, yellow gets the dagger, and with this, the 7-point road. Quite the profitable exchange. In total, Siegfried has a 9-point lead against a meeple surplus of 2 for blue. There's an open cap. Why not just take it before Siegfried gets another 4 quick points? Else there might be this, of course, but I think that's a tad too early. I would have considered this one here, though. There aren't that many city plus road pieces left, and it also protects, let's say, your side of this maybe later big field quite nicely. And you could then continue with this to block this here to a starting tile, which would help. So let's see if Siegfried takes the cap. I don't see why not, especially with the shield Dorito in hand, and even if blue were to draw a road piece, which they were, you at least have the starting tile, which I mentioned, and 2 daggers left to close your city, plus possible continuations with Road Dorito and other city caps as well. Although the tricky bit about these pieces would be that limitations of the road then were far more annoying due to the dagger asymmetry. So over here, no left-handed daggers left. Blue with an insurance farmer. Well, it's not an insurance farmer actually. If they get both remaining vanillas, they'd have 2 9-point fields sharing 2 cities, and that's extra sweet and really efficient. This here would be nice if it weren't for all these crossroad being done already. But as I said, there aren't really that many city plus road pieces left to even limit this to the remaining crossroad, which is the quadruple one. So vizecske could risk it. This cow is completely annoying for Siegfried. As I mentioned, the city plus road pieces are running out, and then needs Dorito or maybe a big city piece to connect there. The diagonal splitters are long gone, so that's a big annoying spanner in his wheels. Blue takes this field, yeah, sure, why not? And with all these features they took, let me highlight this correctly. They managed to get themselves a nice lead on the virtual scoreboard. And this could evaporate if Siegfried would get the remaining vanilla, because blue just drew the penultimate one. So the vanilla would be especially crucial here. 1 point for the city meeple. Sure, doesn't really matter, but taking these 6 points away from blue is nice, and the extra meeple you'd get back definitely wouldn't hurt. But for now, he has to decide what to do with the horse, and a simple continuation would work, but my best guess is he thinks about this move, knowing that it will be hard to complete this anyway, and this here might just add 2 more points to his total. As of now, it's rather unlikely that blue would add a meeple here and try to attack this then shared city/rune. The other option, of course, is the aforementioned block on the top right. Oh, he takes the simple approach. That's interesting. Blue scores. They, of course, could have blocked here, killed the city, as this was the third horse in this game. But you'd rather not waste a juicy tile like this if you have fields. So plus 15 for V, and here we go. Siegfried gets the vanilla. Doesn't immediately play here, because this would also give blue a meeple back. And right now they only have the one in hand, and yeah, Siegfried rather takes the 4 points here and lets blue stay at 1 meeple, but they quite likely will close this road and get a second meeple back in hand. At least in this case, I wouldn't want to risk this one. And playing with 1 meeple on the last 6 moves, well, in most cases it should work fine. But why not get the meeple back if there's really no great option for this tile anyway? So plus 13 for blue. There is this hope for yellow, but he would need to draw the starting tile and, well, 2 Doritos or Dorito Big City plus cap. So that's rather a maybe 2 in 100 chances finalization, and very unlikely at this point. So vizecske doesn't even have to do anything about this. Can't right now anyway. Siegfried just extended the road, prevents an attack. Although vizecske could attack this, the only piece which would thwart this immediately would be the starting tile. And there are still 2 curves out there. But they prefer to take the immediate 6 points, which is fine and should be enough for them to win this game. Plus 18. Well, chance for secret would be to further enlarge the now officially ruin on the left side and then attack / take over one of the 3 9-point fields here. But even then, blue would still have the 1 meeple in hand to score some points somewhere. It's a bit too early, but a tad later, vizecke should consider this here. As of now, as I said, it's too early because this connection is still possible. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe. Doesn't do much. Prevents Siegfried from adding the starting tile there, but with the starting tile, he could go up top and just take the 1 point there. 4 points for him, 3 points to the field, so net 1 point. But vizecke gets it, and that's the end of it. Although there's still a chance to add 2 meeples to this field. Well, 1 over here. This would work with the remaining straight. But the second one doesn't seem possible, at least for this field. Yeah. So scoreboard cosmetics here. Blue might even refrain from enlarging their field just to prevent Siegfried from attacking here. So something like this would work. Although that might get blocked. Well, we'll see. Meanwhile, the last quarterfinal should have started. It's David 44 Kisemo. Let's quickly refresh. It didn't, or it isn't shown. Let's see. Actually, it didn't. Okay. That's interesting. I think I've copied their names, so no typo there. Yeah, maybe they had to postpone or something. If one of you in the chat knows why this hasn't started, please let us know. Yeah, and vizecke even gets the remaining straight, so this is that. This field attack is thwarted, and Siegfried will have to focus on the next game, preferably from his point of view, of course, games, as in 2. But we'll see if he'll be able to force a decider or not. Considering this took quite a while here, I expect the whole affair will be going on, I'd say at least 3/4 of an hour. So I'll take a quick break once this here is done. Okay, folks, not much happening, so I'll be back in a minute. Looks like these two are engaging in a big post-mortem. For those of you who aren't able to understand Magyar, yeah, so Siegfried compliments vizecske on his field play, and he replies, yeah, sure, but not very typical for him. This here sounds like a pause of 2 minutes. Let me quickly check. That's yep, 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 yep. Okay. I don't know if the translation is accurate. I'd say he needs a bit of fresh air, but I don't know. So then let's take a quick look at David and Kisimo, or let's actually open their game up in another window. Well, let's try this one here. I hope you don't mind, and if you do, just let me know. But I think this should work fine. So these two just started rather late. And let's go to Siegfried. So, well, I wish this here up top would auto update, but I'll refresh in a minute, and we'll likely catch the start of the second game as well. Yeah, that's rather annoying for blue here, but they opted to use a splitter there. Would have gone for a protective move here. Didn't, and now threaten to kill this one here. So looks like they have started or are about to start. And now we just wait for this here to disappear and refresh again. If someone of you has good connections to BGA, please ask them to implement a temporary subscription follow mode or something like that. So as you'd be taken to the game table just like the players are. About a layout like this with multiple tables at once, I usually do that on team games, as most of you might know. Some folks definitely are not happy about this. Others like it quite a lot. So this might be divisive, polarizing, something like that. I've started 2 polls in the community section of my channel's page or site. Please, I'd appreciate if you'd take a bit of your time to check the options and answer there what your preferences are in terms of table layout and dual/game coverage. I'd like to get at least a bit of data before possibly changing my ways of covering team matches, at least mostly team matches. Usually when duels like this year in Nationals or in the Champions League, for example, are running concurrently, I still would cover only one of them. But this case here is a bit of an exception, as these two are playing quite slow, and if this duel would need a decider, I'd guess these two on the left side would be done already with their complete match. So this is exactly what I've talked about earlier. Instead of closing this one, Siegfried just opens another city, adding a bit of pressure against blues on the right side and giving him the chance to just use good draws if they may appear. And he didn't get the perfect continuation, of course, which would have been, let me quickly add a shield here. This one with a shield. But then he still has the open cap and could close the other city. If you want to see how this could be played in a rather extreme fashion, try to find a game of Krishna from Latvia. He sometimes has 4 or 5 open cities. And it's pretty interesting to watch, to say the least. So tricky for Siegfried. Yeah, I would have even expected him to not execute this move. Just not to endanger this city here. But adding the Dorito here was annoying, and everything else problematic at best. So he likely chose the best of the worst options, or bad options, I should say. Blue with monastery squares. Yes, even this one should be considered. Yes, even if there might be a blocking move incoming, but there are still 3 daggers out there, so it's not that big of a risk. Not using the curve over here is due to this already existing limitation. So if they'd have placed the curve here, then getting a vanilla would lead to a situation where your opponent only needs a road piece to limit this square to a dagger, and therefore you'd rather keep this as is or continue with something that doesn't give easy blocking chances to your opponent. A very early farmer. But the field is open here. There may be chances here. There is another city there. Maybe you can continue here or there. So could work out fine for them. And because they have this farmer on the field, this specific crossroad is quite annoying. Either here or there, it limits your field rather severely. And in this case also reduces the value of the monastery square quite a lot. So maybe even this one here would be of interest. But they chose a rather natural move, which also has a tad of upside by putting this road end here where blue might take it later. For now, another annoying decision for blue. Is it worth risking your city at the bottom for this attack? Again, it's a 4. Maybe if immediately closed 10-point city, or would you rather continue your existing one? And they chose the latter option, and I quite likely would have done the same. Doesn't mean it's the right choice, though. Siegfried, yeah, with an annoying piece right now, but in the end, he'll put it here. I doubt he'd continue with his city at the bottom like this or this one, so this here should work. This here is definitely way too safe. But it's Siegfried. Takes his time, thinks about the move, weighs all options, and in the end, in a lot of cases, executes the move others would have done in a heartbeat. But not always. Sometimes he finds a better move. But I seriously doubt that this is such a point. Again, he surprises me, but sure, this could work. The one thing why I don't like this move is 5 Doritos already gone. So the rather nice option of creating a bigger 14, 16, 18-point city here Doesn't work in this case. Well, quite likely won't work. This is a waste. Yes, there is no starting tile left. Or rather one. Siegfried just drew the last one. So this here would be an annoying block, but it's still a monastery and it's still worth 6, maybe in the end 8 points, and you'd rather open up your field on the right side anyway. So you have the 4 meeples in hand. Don't be stingy. Meeple is one. If it gets killed, it gets killed. It's not the end of the world. But if you don't meeple this and don't use your meeples efficiently, well, then in the end, these 6, 8, maybe even 9 points might be missing from your total, and you might lose the game because of it. And I'd rather take my chances here and hope to down Siegfried in 2 games than risk a decider. Yeah, and blue would have gotten a straight to save or secure this square. Sure, then you would have this one here, where the threat of a dagger limitation would loom, but still live a little, risk a little. So Siegfried full well knows he has to use the meeples now that he has a lot of them in hand. Attacks the field. And with this problem of blue and is temporarily partly blocked blue road meeple, as they are unlikely to continue the road before filling this monastery hole here. He seizes the chance of doing something about this field and might even he has to protect now because the starting tiles are gone. Else wouldn't put it past him to open up the field on top and directly add a second farmer, which might be an option for blue now. Yeah, blue thinks quite a long time about this move. And in the end, just dumps the curve. I don't know. Sure, You won't play it here because any big city piece like that would immediately kill this one here with no starting tiles left in the deck. But why not use it over here? There are so many city pieces still left. And if not that, then maybe this here to pressure the city. No, that's the wrong order. Blue had the curve, then yellow played this move, so doesn't make sense. Here we go. There's the monastery for blue, and now road building can commence. Did I say commence? That's wrong, actually. Continue, I should say. Commence is more like starting. Yeah, and even in a case like this, where Siegfried gets a cap and has a juicy city to close, he thinks about this, whether he should rather wait for a better continuation. Yeah, and Blue's road actually, it isn't easy to continue, so ideal would be crossroad, sure, or maybe a straight, but definitely not a curve. This is iffy, and this is especially iffy because this here is dead. Now, what to do with this one? Well, start a new city somewhere safe. And if you don't like to fight for a big field, maybe just go over here. This has slight upside, maybe. If Siegfried continues, I'm not so sure he'd take the road. He might, but not sure about it. And if not, you could take this one when you continue your monastery build here. This one as the side with less meeples in hand I don't like, as this could give back a juicy road, even if it were only to take the points and be stuck with it until the end of the game. Yeah, which obstruction will we see? This one? Oh, wrong piece. This one? Or this one? I think there is not much else to consider. Although, maybe this here. To kill the road and the monastery. It looks fine. And might be even better executed this way, as then you would have more or other pieces to block this. So let's just wait and see. And Siegfried chose the biggest threat of blue due to the two remaining splitters. Something like this, with first a cap here and then a splitter there. still was a threat and not that unlikely actually. So that's actually a move blue could have or should have considered. And I think I didn't mention that one. Yeah, that would have been nice. Would have forced to do yellow, would have forced yellow to do something about it. Yeah, no open city cap, so you have to add the extender to your ruin. Create a pressure spot here, but blue gets the perfect piece with this. Crossroad liberates 2 meeples, takes a 4-point lead for now. Also threat has also threat with this city up top, although it's only 6 points if closed, but 6 points are still 6 points. And Siegfried, well, maybe just go over here to prevent blue from attacking this ruin. Else he might consider this one. Maybe I wouldn't, because I wouldn't like to leave either one of these caps in the open. There are just too many city plus road pieces out there. So yeah, standard move it is. Blue closes their city, and in this instance it's absolutely fine. There's only one vertical splitter left, no extender. Yellow closes the small city at the bottom, takes 4 points. Vizecke gets a juicy road monastery. Yeah, come on. Use this spot. You might still get this one back. And yellow's definitely is killed, so you should have the upper hand in terms of meeples and be able to successfully fight for a unified field. Oh, he takes the farming approach. Well, it should work if you are able to add more cities to this farm, else it might be not enough. In the other quarterfinal, David 44 was able to beat Kisimo in the first game. Let's quickly refresh and check if they have started their second. They haven't, so then we'll hop on there. No, we don't need that one actually. So Siegfried, efficient as ever, taking 2 points, hoping to draw a cap to close this city next to his monastery for another 5 points. Isn't afraid of a limitation like this, because then there'd still be 2 daggers, and your opponent would help you complete your monastery. Talking about daggers, here's one, and it works like a charm for the guy with the yellow meeples. Game is almost tied. I like this rose piece quite a lot and wouldn't use it just to attack this lousy 7-point ruin. But Bloom might consider this anyway. This year was the penultimate dagger, so there's only one left to help Blue close their city on the right side. Let's just add it as critical. Although, is it really? I mean, it's unlikely to be completed anyway. Yeah, this takes away the cows and field Doritos from yellow, but it also gives this road end, so a continuation like that might be in the cards for yellow, but would give back 2 attacking squares, so not even sure if this road end is an issue, because Siegfried might just not add the horse there unless yellow's meeples were at least a bit more depleted. So he now liberates the monastery, jumps on the road, and it wouldn't surprise me if this road in the end would look like this, for example. And then he would have gained 11 points with more or less scrap tiles. So will be interesting to see if he goes here, but with this one, rather not. So I would peg him on this move, taking 2 points and supplying the road end. Blue expands the field to the bottom, adding this city to the main field. Also adds another cap, which quite likely will become a city later. And it's still a pretty close game. Another option for Siegfried, but quite likely not the crossroad, would be this double field attack, actually. But I don't see him doing that now. This piece is too valuable. Well, as I said earlier, it's Siegfried. He does sometimes moves, which, I mean, I said he could consider this, and maybe I had a hunch or something, but it still is a bit of a surprise to me. Yeah, fine move by Blue. closes up the field on the left side, or more or less closes this up. There's still this ninja option available. And now that szigfrid has connected at the top and threatens to tie the field, it's about time for blue to do something about it. And this connection here is annoying. Over here, it's annoying as well. And so fireworks, they create this here, take away a few road pieces from szigfrid, so no more road Doritos or rose there, although you would use the rose, likely would use the road on the left, the rose on the left side anyway. But this here creates this option. This is still iffy with straight, but easy to execute the curve. The straight, of course, would be tough, as there are no starting tiles left, so you might get blocked in this way. But considering blue has a meeple majority, opening up this field is actually a nice find. But szigfrid jumps on the chance first. And let's see. This here could be a worthy move, if it weren't for this square, of course. This would kill this here and would only leave two curves to execute the connection. Yeah, I just waited for this one here. So double attack. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So definitely wanted with two splitters still out there. And now is because there's only the one rose left, plus continuation like this would work as well. Although likely with the dagger plate first. And looks like szigfrid is counting all the pieces to be extra sure. I don't think he considers farming there, just for the... Although he might, actually. He might. Because if blue would get the rose immediately, they for sure would farm there. That is interesting, to say the least. It gives back the chance to kill this square, but it also leaves three options to immediately close this city with 16 tiles left. So yeah, I'm not sure I would have used that option. Therefore, vizecke quite likely will now... Whoa! I wanted to say they will protect, because this would give them still two outs to close the city. They don't. They take the greedy approach and score 4 road points. And also this move here, if executed, would have been with the farmer, so a double whammy, and I quite like that, or would have liked that. It's not too late. Well, let's see if Siegfried goes for the connection move here or just takes the 4 points. He takes the 4 points because he'd rather kill this. Blue doesn't get... yeah, well, anything I wanted to say, but they could have protected this and still hoped to draw the remaining litter. Instead, they opt to attack the field again. And now it's for Siegfried to decide whether to limit this connection to one piece or as he prefers, and I would have done as well, kill the square. What's done is done. Blue at least gets the rose and is able to score 6 points. There are still 4 tiles to connect at the bottom for Siegfried. Same goes, no, 5 tiles even. Same was correct until this move for Blue's attacking option. Now it's down to 1, and that's the curve. Siegfried over here has all monasteries are gone, but there are still the city pieces, vanilla, splitter, and 2 Doritos, as only 3 are on the board. So it's very likely that Siegfried will connect at the bottom, and if he'd get the curve, it will be tricky for Blue to counter, as Siegfried wouldn't use the curve here. That would give back options for Blue to counterattack. But there, of course, this would also at least give a ninja option or pseudo ninja. Yeah, and Blue has the right idea. Tries to block this square. And if they manage to limit this to a curve as well, then we have ourselves a 50-50 flip. And the curve might be even decisive in that case. If it weren't for this piece here, if we could even consider this here, but the prospect of needing a curve in 2 places to connect 1 farmer each isn't really a great one. So he just goes for the indirect continuation of this road, while Blue draws the curve, takes over the main field for now with their 3rd farmer. Siegfried doesn't get anything to connect, but he'll use the piece there nonetheless to protect the connection. I'm not securing the connection, as there are still permutations where he wouldn't get anything to connect. but at least he wouldn't limit the connection pieces. Yeah, this is definitely more precise, as this road here is less usable than city part to the top would be. Case in point, blue gets the splitter, can't do anything about this. Farmer, and here we go, here's the connection. Or is it? Does he protect the field beforehand like this? Because if not, there's this chance here of blue taking it over again. Yeah, and he goes there. This is dead, so no issue. Let's see if vizecske sees this. This here would work, or could work, if Siegfried gets this extender, not extender, splitter, because then he couldn't block this square. Or the rotary toe, because this wouldn't work to block the square as well. So let's see if vizecske finds this move. Is there anything else worthy of consideration? There isn't, and he does, but Siegfried gets the perfect tile, the only one which would have gone here. But it's not the end, as he's 1 point down, and vizecske still has 2 moves versus Siegfried's 1, so he takes the point here. 4 minus 3 for the field, net 1. And let's see. Doesn't look like there's a chance for Siegfried. Oh, there is a chance. There is a chance. There is this 4-point road. And if vizecske takes 4 points over here, and Siegfried would get the Dorito to take 5, then vizecske would get the 5th point, and the game would be tied, and the tie definitely doesn't go to the starting player, but to Siegfried. So looks to me like a 50-50, unless I'm missing something. And I don't see any field attacking option left that could work. I don't see any. He takes the city, and Siegfried gets the 50-50. He surely will take these 5 points after taking 50 seconds to again check his options. Mark my words, I don't expect him to have more than 10 seconds left on the clock in the end. And then vizecske will take another point, but that's just 1 point too few. So we'll get a decider. And here is me lamenting not using this monastery again. Yeah, strong play by both. And in the end, Siegfried eked out the win here. On the last piece with this 50-50 flip. And actually by drawing the vanilla beforehand. So what is the remaining tiles actually? Yeah, wow. So this one and this one, and it might have been the only permutation which would give Siegfried the win. Yeah, quite likely. So tough loss for blue. Looks like 3-minute pause. So then, if these two need 3 minutes, we may focus on Kisimo and David. Looks like they aren't the fastest guys on Earth as well. So let's quickly refresh here and then open their game in the main window, and let's hop to Siegfried. To refresh in a minute or so. So what's up here? Close game as well. After David won the first one with 22 points. This is dead. These monasteries are still alive. This one as well, but barely. So looks like it would need this here or this to be completed. Yellow takes 3 points there. There's the big elephant in the room. The splitter is still remaining and the Rito as well. So we'll see if one of these would use it, and I'd say it's rather unlikely Kisemo would, as he has an open city cap at the bottom. So Kisemo got the road monastery, just took the 3 points on the left. Yeah, nice one here for David. Monastery is dead anyway, so just obstructing the city, and this here could backfire for blue. Why give your opponent a point? Can't be due to the remaining monastery, as there are several 5-point spot on the board. So in this case, I don't know. I don't like this one. Rather, you are ahead by 2 points, so maybe even creating a ruin could work in your favor. So looks like the other two have started, but I'll stick to this game for now. Yeah, David, with this one, yeah, it's tad passive, but with 2 cows still remaining, meepling this cap somewhere could end in devastating fashion. So he just uses this cap here, dumps it to attack this one. There's still one option for blue to close this city. And even if yellow doesn't get the remaining Dorito, there are still the 2 cows left and a cap, but that's the wrong order. Good news though, blue city won't be closed, and if it were, it would be with a farmer. And this then would be the game for blue, unless yellow were able to take over the city at the top, which in this case they couldn't do due to the missing city cap. So where to dump this one now? Well, more or less anywhere, as there are no caps left. Oh, there's also a 6-point field on the left side, and then this move here actually might not have been the best one, as you take 6 points, but well, the threat of this Dorito alone should be worth this one, but in the end Kisemo will win this one. We'll just take this field and force the decider. So let's switch again. These two over here. And the decider between our main protagonists of the rather late evening, Siegfried and Vizecke, in the main window. So Siegfried was able to close a city and a loop road. Vizecke with the first monastery, also city up top. Not the best configuration. Cow would be pretty annoying. And that's a nice move, protecting against any options of killing this square. Also creating this juicy monastery square to be used later. In this case, with yellow having a monastery of their own in the south, it's more likely that blue would use this one, but again, it's Siegfried, so one Might never know if that holds true. Yeah, 2 monasteries gone, so he's reluctant to use the vanilla there. But what else will you do? Oh, should you do? Would you do? Wait for the monastery and then what? Then this square gets blocked? Killed, maybe? Ah, not a great option. Ideal continuation would be some sort of Dorito to not give this attacking option back to yellow. In this case, blue gets away with it because yellow can't attack and quite likely won't use this as obstruction piece, because then they for sure would need to meeple the cap, but this could get obstructed with any big piece or Dorito. Yeah, here we go. Yellow protects their city against any problems from the right side, and also has the option to kill this square and with this 3 meeples if they deem this necessary or useful. For now, they'd rather hope to complete the city. Starting tile, rows, whatever, and take the field would be worth way more points than killing 2 versus 1 meeples. Yeah, works, prevents a block here and limitation of this road. Blue indirectly continues the road, but downside is they give back this option, which yellow might use. For now, at least they were able to thwart yellow's attack up top, closed their 10-point city, take a small lead right now, which quite likely will evaporate unless Siegfried doesn't decide to close the city. And again, there is the continuation with splitter or extender, and therefore I just leave this as is and create a new city on the right side, for example, which would exert some pressure on this square. And with 2 of the left-handed daggers already gone, this could become quite useful if you could push a city, a city into blue's road. No. It's the other way around. A road into blue's city. Else he might maybe think about something over here, but yeah, I think this is the best move as well. Let's see what blue does. Due to this vanilla continuing like this, or this of course is impossible, would have been ideal. And this here is, well, iffy. 2 daggers gone. And then what could happen would be something like this. Although in this case, Siegfried might just take the 3 points. So might not be as risky as I would have considered this on first sight. The cap plus road or straightish pieces would be used over here by Siegfried, and the Doritos may be here or there, so actually continuing here would have been quite okay. Not sure it was necessary to go there. Sure, it does help your road insofar as it isn't likely to be blocked like this to the left-handed dagger. But it also gives back a juicy 4-point road, although only if the field is taken beforehand. And well, if it weren't for this one, I'd say take the field now. This here might be a necessity, and then I take the field there. Even if this here might not work out, there would still be the upper route, and you'd still have options on the right side as well. Instead, he opts to run interference on Siegfried City, which is an interesting decision. And now I would expect this one here. But let's see. Now looks like it's getting late for viewers as well. Yeah, there are. This one here has really nice upside, so I'm not sure why it takes Siegfried so long to decide on that move. There are still 3, no, not 3, 5 Doritos out there. There's a diagonal splitter as well. And okay, yeah, I think that's a missed chance to create more trouble for blue. So I don't like that one. Sure, it works because blue is unlikely to attack over here due to the city on the left. But actually, I don't like it. Yeah, this time a quick move. Because the clock was under 1 minute. And in that case, there's nothing to think about, really. And this might even force vizecske to use this one here instead of somewhere over here and meepling the field. But they take this here. Don't try anything against this city. And looks like they knew what would happen. Yes, another instance where other folks would have played the move already. Oh, yeah, sure. With two open caps on blue's field, you can opt to leave this empty. It's not strictly necessary, and blue might still take this one. There are enough caps left to close here. So if I'd get, well, the splitter would go here. The vanilla might go here, although I'd rather use the Dorito there. So I think yellow's calculation is correct. Blue is more likely to use pieces in the marked squares than closing this city up top. And we'll see a farmer on the right side as well. But now this looks way more enticing than this here. So being stingy and leaving this for blue to take could hurt. But as of now, Siegfried threatens to run away with this game. Blue definitely needs to do something about their city here. Hope to draw the monastery. Maybe even add a second farmer sometime here before this connection or this connection is built. So in this case, just limiting yellow's options on their field might have been okay. I don't know. I don't think that it's appropriate to add this cow there now. With 10 tiles left, maybe, but at this point in time where there are still chances to even create a profitable city here, adding a cow without shield, I don't know. I'd rather use this over here to limit the field. So Siegfried, vanilla. Well, there's a cap there, and blue depends on quick points, so why not take them away from blue? You want to take over the field in the long run anyway, so it might just be net 4 points and not just the one you'd get right now. Yeah, he has bigger things in mind. And I really can't fault him for that. So this is good timing, executing this move before blue has the monastery in hand. Also limits the ninth square of this potential monastery, 2 curves, and the remaining road monasteries. Adds another cap for another city. And vizecke now, well, I hope they aren't considering to close Yellow City. Yeah, I don't like that one. There is an open cap on your opponent's field. You have 2 meeples in hand. Why not take this one first and later close your city? There are still enough caps out there which you can't use over here due to roads on their left side, like starting tiles or the other roses. Yeah, not a fan of this one here. Even though the extenders are, no, they aren't. There's still an extender left. Right. Yeah, well then, even more not a fan. Okay, so we are at 2 hours match time, and I knew this could happen. I just didn't pack snacks, although I might have a snack somewhere. Yeah, I mean, what else? Going over here? Why not? But Siegfried prefers to take this one quite likely because of the aforementioned city caps with roads that can't be used over here. So if he had taken this one, then it would be likelier that blue would be able to take this city on the right side. And the way yellow has played it in this instance is reducing the chances of blue being able to make good use of the empty city cap on the left side. So finally, blue gets a useful continuation of their city with this Dorito. Given there's only one left, yellow might try or might obstruct this. They don't. They add the third farmer, which is nice as well, especially, which I just neglected completely because they don't need a monastery to connect or don't need to wait for the monastery to connect to the main field, but could do that with a simple curve as well. So this definitely doesn't hurt. And yep, that's playing the bit of pizzazz, risk, whatever you want to call it. Could have opted to take this cap as well, even though the threat of this being obstructed, limited, blocked to the dagger, and in worst cases, even totally destructed maybe. They opted for this one and now at least get to protect it. Their only question quite likely will be whether to meeple the road, and with that many curves still left and 3 meeples in hand. I'd say, sure, meeple the road. So 3 road Doritos left, and yellow isn't able to attack this. Might limit this. They don't. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, this year would have taken away 5 out of 7 city caps. So interesting that yellow played this move more or less without thinking, which is counter or runs counter, I don't know, to their usual ways. So that's surprising, but not in a positive sense. And there's also a juicy option for blue here. The field attack could be executed this way as well. And they have to fight for this field. This is, I think, minus 28 right now. So let's figure this out. 7 points right now. Shielded Dorito, maybe? Yeah, still 2 out there, so it's likely they'd get a shielded Dorito. Well, then this city would jump to 18 points from 7, so plus 11. And this monastery, 20 points. Well, then they might still have a chance to win without the big unified field. Maybe tying one of the subfields could work. Especially drawing the last remaining rows could be crucial for blue here. So for now, they get to liberate their road meeple. And then should attack the field somewhere, I guess. Oh, I totally neglected this move. That's a total block. Nice vision by blue. This was the last vanilla. Yeah, and there's also this 9-point field, which no one has taken until now because there is a juicy monastery spot and the vanillas were useful elsewhere. But in the end, I guess someone will take it. So yellow goes for this connection approach here, hoping to get a 3-1 majority on a united field, which would force blue to invest at least 2 meeples to tie this, maybe even a 4th one to take it over or try to take it over. But first they'd have to get the Dorito to close their city, and of course they'd hope to get a monastery to take these juicy 9, in their case 10 points. For now they attack over here, which I'm not a big fan. This here would kill this immediately. And up top, there's only the one piece for yellow, which would kill this square. But it works out for them. Get to take 2 points while connecting. So the subfield at the bottom right is tied for now. And looky here, this nice option to take 4 points, but I guess Siegfried will farm. He doesn't? Okay. I would have pegged him on the farmer just to ensure this one. Yeah, the 5C is gone. It's a 4C, of course, but who cares? So Siegfried just lost the starting player advantage. There would be this option to attack the farm. Yeah, he goes for it immediately, and this one might get blocked. Rather restricted because there's still one starting tile left. We'll see. Or will we see the insurance by Siegfried now? Like this? Yeah, looks like it. Yeah, that's the better move. It accomplishes more than this he would. So another chance for blue to get more meeples into their hands, and if they really want to fight for the field, they might consider this, but I still would rather go here, pre-close the road, or just take the 4 points. Yeah, they do this, get their meeples back, score 6 points versus 6 points for Siegfried as well. So it's a net 0-point move, but gives them a meeple back and gives them a chance to get another meeple back once they finally draw another monastery. We'll see. This year doesn't rely on the road Dorito, or doesn't solely rely on the road Dorito. There's, of course, also the Swiss Army knife available, the road monastery, and in that case, yellow might meeple the road as well, or rather should, with 3 Doritos still out there. Yeah. This is protection. So a straight would have killed this monastery option. The same goes for example, for the horse. And this here protects it nicely. So this is still alive. But for now, the first of these road monasteries goes to vizecke. And this here seems to be the move. There aren't really that many road pieces left, and both these squares could get blocked. So they connect. And for now, the main field is tied with 1, 2, 3 farm. Oh, missed one. 3 farmers per side. Siegfried has one of the shielded road Doritos in hand. Which blue likely would have used to close the city, even giving the field to Siegfried for now. So he opts to kill this 9-point field option. This square is dead. And maybe this here. Does this work? Well, it's immediately killed with the road monastery, but would Siegfried use the road monastery? There's the question. And what are there in terms of connection pieces? Well, actually, the two monasteries, regular monasteries you'd use over here. So road monastery would work, and the remaining field Dorito would work. Yeah. Not ideal, but still maybe you'd have to do this. So Siegfried gets the regular monastery and will use it because this puts him in a position where blue, even with this city closed, would lose if the field were tied in the end. So Siegfried's at plus 20. I counted this one earlier. What was it? It's at 7, 18, so 11 points, I think, for blue. And that's not enough, and that's exactly why they take this monastery. The other quarterfinal, as expected, finished, even though they started, I think, 35-40 minutes later than Siegfried and vizecske. So Siegfried adds another 6 points to their score, and this then forces blue to go all out on the field. If they want to win this game, they quite likely need to win the field. Although maybe there's still a chance with the city and quick points. Talking about quick points, well, there's only this one actually. And getting the remaining monastery would add 8 points as well, but that's just not enough against yellow's 2 meeples in hand. So blue needs this Dorito and ASAP on their next move. And what else is there? There's no attacking option here. And everything else is cumbersome at best. Well, this one here, this is available. Yeah. This here, monastery, Dorito. I think you have to play this now that Siegfried has taken 6 points up top and you are 24 points behind. This only nets you 11. Monastery gives you 8. That's not enough. So this here looks to me like a must. and I don't see anything else. Come on. Do it. Do it. Give us content, please. Yes. Yes, here we go. We found it. Nice one. And now I'd like to see the monastery in Blue's hands. Oh, but there's a counter move available, of course, which I totally neglected. And yellow will find this one. Oh, will they? Won't they? It's close. They don't have a lot of time left. That could be a crucial miss by Siegfried, that he didn't add meeple there, but he gets the monastery and will win this game due to winning this coin flip point. But I think not meepling this farm here and putting it over there was a mistake. Yeah, this indicates he had no time to count the remaining pieces, knows quite likely the score, and that he's ahead. Else he would have used a 6-point monastery spot here. But this here is just knowing, okay, either I connect or not, but I'm still ahead. And it's just tough for Blue. If they would have gotten the Dorito and then later the starting tile, they could have still gained the majority on the field, which would have been unblockable because yellow could have only played the cow there, and that would have fit perfectly. So unlucky Blue in the end. Didn't get the piece they needed to connect immediately, and then didn't hit the one permutation which could have saved their bacon, and I don't see another one. So it might just be that Siegfried added this piece over there to try and connect there, but why do that if you can go over here? So let's check, what are they saying? Yeah. So vizecske says he was waiting for the monastery as savior, but it just didn't come, and I guess didn't even notice that this option, even after the monastery, was available. Even if it's only a 1 in 6 chance, but still 1 in 6 is good enough. sometimes. Yeah, something about good game and congrats. This might be thanks or okay or something. Let's quickly check. Yeah, so question is thanks. Learned something today. Nerve-wracking match. Yeah, it definitely was. So let's actually stick around. Looks like they are doing a proper post-mortem, or at least talking a bit about this game, and that's always interesting. But we'll check in the meantime. So David 1 versus Kisemo will play versus F Chaba in the semis, and there I'd say David is the favorite, maybe even the heavy favorite. Siegfried versus Mosopal, on the other hand, is a more open duel. Both pretty strong, both masters, and could be as interesting as the duel we witnessed in the quarterfinal today. So let's check. Yeah, talking about time trouble and the draw in the second not being friendly to vizecke. Yeah, I guess that might be true. Yeah, so vizecke wishes Siegfried good luck for the tournament. So semi-final, final. And I think that's it for me for now. Let's quickly check if there is anything else that has changed. New streams scheduled, and there aren't, only these two upcoming matches, and that's not of interest to me. But this one on Sunday evening, European time, or very early in Asia and midday in the Americas. This one I'll cover because Marty Party, oh yeah, is at 7-0 in the Czech championship. It's a round robin with 12 participants, so 11 matches to play. And Pussy 118 is at 7-1, so it's a do or die game for Pavel, and this will be quite an interesting matchup. Both quite strong players, so should be very interesting. Yeah, thanks to you who stuck around. Again, if there's anything you have to say, you'd like to know, all the info are in the description, and I would appreciate any of you to take a look at the polls I posted in the community section. I'd really like to get your input, and preferably even a few sentences and not just a click of a button. But in the end, I take any feedback I could get from you. So thanks a lot. Bye bye.